With enough caffeine, I could rule the world. Well, that's not really true, is it? Well, good morning, everybody, or good day, or evening, or wherever you are when you're watching, whatever time it is. Welcome to Coffee and Crochet with Sarah. This is our live video that we do every Tuesday, unless I'm out of town or sick or something. But we do it every Tuesday over on the Posh Pooch Designs Facebook page, 9:30 a.m. and that's Mountain Time. And you'll have to Google what Colorado or what Mountain Time is in your time or your area in the world to know exactly when that is. Now, if you missed the live video, don't panic. I always have them on my Facebook page down in the photos, or I mean, not the photos, down in the videos. You can click on that, or you can find it later. Usually takes me about 2 hours, depending on how quickly YouTube's uploading, to get it over on the YouTube channel. Now, welcome everybody. I see a lot of you already popping in. It's so good to see you. And the first thing I wanted to remind you of is our giveaway. Let me grab our bag. We're giving away our Coffee and Crochet with Sarah project bag, and it is filled with a big variety of different cotton yarns. There is cotton cakes, peaches and cream. This one is Mary Maxim. Lots of different choices. I believe there's 8 different skeins or balls. I'd have to look, but you can find that out exactly from looking at last week's video. So how do you get involved in our monthly giveaways? The first Tuesday of the month, I announce what the giveaway is. And of course, that was last Tuesday. And so this Tuesday is just a reminder. And the only way you can get involved is just to comment. Comment on last week's live video on Facebook or last week's live video on YouTube. It's just a comment and you're in. And then what we do is next Tuesday, because I give you 2 weeks to enter, next Tuesday, which is the 3rd Tuesday of the month, we'll put all the names in to the random generator, and whatever name comes up is the winner. I don't choose them. I don't pick them. It's just random. Alrighty, so best of luck with that. And then the other thing we need to do right away, because we have a lot of things to do today and a lot of things to talk about, is let's clink in. Last week I forgot, didn't I? All right, now to clink in, all you got to do is clink, clink. With enough caffeine, I can rule the world. Today I am drinking some Starbucks coffee that my son brought over for me, that he got, and it has like the coffee, and then it has the creamer, and the creamer is really creamy. So hopefully this week my voice won't get so dry. It's kind of funny because it's been so dry here, and yesterday they put out an advisory for snow. Luckily, they said about 6,000 altitude, and so feet in altitude. So up in the mountains is getting a ton of snow, which is a really good thing because, you know, the Rocky Mountains helps give water to lots of the United States. But we're just getting a lot of rain, which is really, really good. But it's cold. Last night it was 39 degrees. Brr. Okay, now the other thing I wanted to talk to you about real quick is our monthly crochet along. We're doing washcloth of the month. Now, because my husband and I are going to be gone the 4th Monday, because we usually do the washcloth on the 4th Monday of the month, my husband and I are going to go and visit with his father, who's in his 80s. We want to check on him, make sure everything's okay. We're going to be gone that Monday because we're going to be gone, let's see, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, and I think the 22nd is his birthday, and then we'll be back the 24th or something like that. Anywho, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do the washcloth of the month next Monday, which I believe is the 15th. I didn't write the date down, but it's next Monday. The pattern's all ready to go, and so we'll do the washcloth of the month next Monday. And that also brings us to the subject of the next Tuesday, which is the 4th Tuesday. I'm probably going to do a pre-recorded sort of thing so that you still have a video, and then I'll load it on YouTube, and you'll have to watch it over there because I can't do a live video from Las Vegas, which I could, but I want to spend time with my father-in-law and my husband's family. Or we'll do something, but you may just have to watch it on YouTube, but that's okay. We'll do something fun. So this week we're going to do a crochet together and do a little ladybug. Last week we did the ladybug. This week we're doing the little bumblebee. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He's got a little stinger, a little eye, and he's really cute. And the reason I decided I was going to do the bumblebee last week, and then I got questions about the French knots. And although we're going to do a French knot today, when we do the ladybug, it's going to be kind of a study in color changing on rows, and that's why I was going to do the bumblebee last week, and then I switched them. Okay, so we're going to do the bumblebee today. So you're going to need just a small amount. It's all done in worsted weight, medium weight, number 4 yarns. You can use cotton or whatever you have on hand. Just grab something out of your stash, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. All right, the other thing we're going to do is I've got a new yarn to show you. And then I've got the 3 patterns that we worked on this week, including this beautiful blanket that's behind me that we did yesterday. And we're going to talk about all of that a little later on. Okay? And so, well, hello, Rebecca. She's Rebecca Latham. She's a friend of ours from Oklahoma checking in. Good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to click over to my other screen. And we're going to get started on that, not ladybug, but bumblebee. All right, so here is our bumblebee. You're going to need a little bit of black and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of like an off-white for those wings. But because black is really difficult to film, I'm going to use this purple instead. And we'll just have us a purple and yellow bumblebee. We're going to stitch today with our H hook, and that's a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle, and you'll need your scissors. And as far as the yarns, you can use acrylic, you can use wool, whatever you've got on hand, cotton, it doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to get my strings all ready here, put them in my thing. All right, so we're going to start with the black, but I'm going to start with the purple. All right, now this is going to take us probably a few more seconds longer than some of our other crochet alongs that we've done together, or I like to call these crochet togethers because crochet along usually means a couple of days and a couple of steps. All right, so we're going to begin back here with this stinger and then work our way up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make our slip knot, and we're going to chain 5. And remember, I'm substituting the purple for the black. All right, let me move those out of the way. Now, we're going to stitch 3 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. We don't count the loop on our hook, so 1, 2, and this bottom 3 chains are going to be our stinger, all right? So we're going to go in the second chain, and we're going to stitch 3 single crochets. Go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through the 2 loops. And we'll do that 2 more times. That's 2 and 3. So we have 3 single crochets. All right, we're going to leave our purple yarn attached. We're going to grab our yellow yarn. We're going to bring it in and pull it in that loop. Now remember, when you change colors on the end of a row, always do your chain 1, 2, or 3 or whatever after your color change, because if you do it before, you end up with a little bit of a, I call it a bloop on your next row. All right, so we're going to turn. We're going to stitch 2 single crochets in the first single crochet. And on this pattern, the chain 1 does not count as a stitch that we did here. It's just a turning chain. All right, so 2 single crochets in the first single crochet. We're going to stitch 1 single crochet in the next, and then 2 single crochets in that last single crochet. So now we have 5 single crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn because we're not changing colors. All right, and so now on row 3, we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2. More yarn out there. All right, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll place 2 single crochets in the last. And just an FYI, Maximo, my little white chihuahua, is snoring. So we're going to let him sleep and just pretend like he's not snoring. All right, so now we went from having 3 to 5, and now we have 7 single crochets, and we're not going to chain 1. We're going to bring our first color back in, snug that down, and then chain 1. And I like to snug it down again, make sure everything's nice and snug, and we're going to turn. All right, now for row 4, we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. And again, our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's just a turning chain. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to repeat for row 5 what we did for row 4. 1 single crochet in each of those 7 stitches. All right, last single crochet. Now we're going to change back to our yellow, and we're finished with our black or our purple, and we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. Get that out of our way. And don't worry about these yarns here on the side. We're going to come back in and stitch over those when we're finished. All right, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now, for row 6, we're going to do what's called single crochet together or single crochet decrease. So we're going to go in the first stitch and pull up a loop. Then we'll go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. And what we've done is we've made 2 single crochets into 1. All right, so we're going to single crochet, 1, 2, 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We single crocheted the first 2 together, and then we single crocheted in the next 3, and now we're going to single crochet the last 2 together. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, we're going to go in and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 of those loops, chain 1 and turn. So now instead of having 7, we have 5 single crochets. All right, now we're going to repeat what we just did. We're going to stitch the first 2 together. We're going to single crochet in the next stitch. Some yarn out here. And single crochet the last 2 together. Chain 1 and turn. And now we're just going to single crochet in those 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. So there's our little bumblebee body and our little bumblebee head. And now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet around and I'll show you how to go around that stinger. We'll single crochet all the way back up, and then I'll show you how to weave these in and put our wings and our little eye on. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a single crochet here, and now we're going to single crochet evenly up the side, working to the stinger. And it can be a little challenging when you're single crocheting around the edge where you don't have exact stitches to put your stitches in. And so the key is to try to go in the sides of the stitches and not the hole. See, I accidentally tried to get in that hole. There we go. And that gives you a much cleaner and crisper appearance. And I think we talked about this not that long ago. And there is not a set number of stitches, but you do want to kind of get it to pull in. If you'll notice on this one, it kind of looks like a walnut shell. It caves in the middle a little bit and arches out. All right, so now we're working down to that stinger. We want to put a stitch right next to that stinger. We're going to push it forward, and we'll put our stitch behind it like that. And this brings us to the side where we have those places where we carried the yarn. I keep pulling my arm back, I'm sorry. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stitch around those. All right, I missed my stitch. Let's try that again. That's a tight one. Get in there. There we go. If you don't get in that stitch, you end up with a hole. We don't want that. All right, so I'm going to go through this stitch here on the side. I'm going to stitch around that stitch where we carried the yarn. See how I'm going around it? All right, now we also have this. So I'm going to lay this across and I'm going to stitch over it. And that will help us not have to weave those in as much. All right, and those are where we joined in our new colors. There we go. All right, pull on that just a little. And now we're just going to work our way back up to the front of our bumblebee. The most difficult part of this little bumblebee is those edges. And again, there isn't a set amount of stitches. It's just all eyeball work, just looking, making sure they're not too close and not too far apart. All right, so this brings us back up here on this row where we stitched those 3 single crochets. And we're just going to stitch right in those 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll stitch a slip stitch in the next stitch and tie off. All right, now we're going to go behind. We're going to pull that loop to the back and tie off to the back. And that gives the front of our bumblebee a little bit better appearance. Kind of looks like an egg done in yellow and purple, doesn't it? All right, let's get this finished up. I told you this one's going to take a little bit longer than usual. So here's our stinger, and we're going to go right back in those stitches with our needle. And just go right back in there. Make sure we pull that back out so we have our stinger. And then we'll just weave this in, making sure we weave in on the black and not the yellow so it doesn't show through. All right. All right, now we already worked these 2 in by stitching over them, so we're going to cut those. All right, and then the last one we have to weave in is the long one where we ended. And again, weaving in, you want to go through stitches, you want to go through the fibers of the yarn, go one way and then back the other. All right. So now we have our little honeybee with his little stinger. That one's kind of poking up, kind of like that. All right, the next thing we want to do real quick is the little eye. So we're going to just grab a piece of yarn. And we did French knots last week, so we know how to do a French knot. And we're just going to make one. You can determine if you want your eye. I kind of like it a little bit up. And remember, go through the fibers of the yarn and not the holes. Leave a tail. wrap 3 times, go back in, but go next to it in another stitch, hold it and gently pull through, and then we'll tie that on the inside. All right, so now our honeybee has an eye, and the last thing it needs are its little wings. All right, and I do tie a knot on a French knot. Now, to make the wings, it's really super simple. We're just going to make a couple of chains. So let's make our slip knot. We're going to chain 8. One, I did this wrong. I forgot I got to attach it. Okay, I was thinking we were going to do it separate. All right, so we want to attach it right above that stripe in that single crochet. All right. Guess I should have checked my notes closer. All right, now we're going to chain 8, and we're going to leave a tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, we're going to join right back to that same stitch with a slip stitch and chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we'll go right back to that same stitch and stitch another slip stitch. There we go. Cut our yarn. Tie off. There's our 2 little bumblebee wings. And we'll just tie these in the back like this. Now, you can take your needle and weave that in if you want to, but this particular type of thing I'll go ahead and cut, because this is going to be or go ahead and knot, I should say, because this is going to be an applique. Isn't that cute? Kind of looks cute in purple. All right, so there's our little bumblebees. All right, let me scoot back over to the top camera. And so, first of all, if you're looking for perfection, you're looking in the wrong place. And I knew the bumblebee would take us just a few minutes longer. But one of the things that I wanted to show you is when you're stitching a trim and you have where you've carried across or you have tie-offs, you can stitch them down, and that will eliminate having to, weave that in later. And when you're changing colors like we did, always do that chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, or whatever it is. Let me move that down in case there's a question. Hi, Callie. I just saw my granddaughter got back on. When you're changing colors, when there's a chain 1, chain 2, or chain 3 or something, always do that after the color change, even if it doesn't count as a stitch, or you end up with just that little bloop where you don't get a nice crisp row. All right, so we got a couple of bumblebees. Buzz. All right, now hopefully next week we're going to do that little turtle I was talking about. It's similar to the ladybug, but they're just so much fun. I love doing little crochets together with you and learn, because sometimes you can tell somebody what to do, and I don't mean to be bossy. That's not bossy. But you can explain what to do. But if you can show how you do it, it helps a lot, And so if you want the written pattern, that's going to be on the blog, okay? And I always post the blog later after it's finished on my Facebook page as well. And of course, you can always find that. If you go to the Facebook page, on the side, there's like an about section, and you just hit about, and it has the blog link, things like that. And you can also find the blog on YouTube, because under the YouTube video, in those notes, underneath the video, just hit that little arrow or where it says see more. It'll also have the link. Usually on my live videos, I put read the blog at this link, and then I'll put the link, and you can click that, and I'll take you right to the pattern for the honeybee. And but like I said, I love doing them. They're lots of fun, and it shows, techniques that we can do. All right. So let's talk about what's new this week at Posh Pooch Designs. I had a lot of fun. When things are hectic in my life or things are going on, I try to do something fun that isn't quite so serious. And so one of the things that we did is dog whoopies. These are so much fun. Now, just a disclaimer, if your dog is a chewer and likes to just rip the stuffings out of things, these probably aren't the best toys for them. My dogs carry them around, use them as pillows. Sometimes I throw them across the room, they bring them back to me, things like that. And so with this pattern, you can make a dog whoopee that's as long as you want to. This one is shorter, this one is longer. They're made exactly the same. And if you want to make this dog whoopee to have kitty cat ears, bunny ears, or bear ears, you can use the pattern for the little hand puppet that we did. The ears will fit just fine. And these are different ears, so if you want the ears off that one, you can do that too. So that's lots of options, lots of fun. They're just stuffed babies, and these are great for kids too. They are. They make great lovies. So that's our dog whoopee pattern. We updated the pattern on the blog, and you can find that in Ravelry, and then you can also find it on the YouTube channel. All right. And again, I always add the written pattern link with lots of pictures underneath the YouTube video in that note section. All right. The other thing we did, let me take off my glasses and put on my sunglasses. I can't see you, so I got my glasses back on. Okay, we did the on-the-go sunglass cases, and I love these. This one, oh, no, this one, I made quite a few years ago in this yarn. I think it's called Blacklight yarn, when it first came out with Red Heart, and I just loved it. And it's been through the wash. It's been, you know, through the beach water and the lake water and the water in the backyard, you know. And so I thought I'd make a new one. And so I used this yarn, and it's made off the same yarn as my Summer Lovin' Sun hat, because I had some left. And they're just super fun. They fit your nice big sunglasses, or you can use them just to have around your house for your regular sunglasses. Oops, there we go. And then you just add a little button. Has a little handle. You can hang it on your mirror in your car or on your handle or something. And I just really love them. And so we made that super easy pattern. This is a new pattern that's on the blog. And then you can also find it again on YouTube. And again, the written pattern with pictures is underneath that YouTube video in the notes section. And a lot of people don't realize there's a notes section, and there is on every blog, on every YouTube video that we do. Underneath there is a notes section where I put the links where you can find me and all of that stuff as well. Okay? The other thing that we did is this beautiful blanket. This blanket is an update. It's a pattern I wrote a few years ago. And I updated it with the mandala yarn. Isn't this gorgeous? I just have to show this to you. Isn't that beautiful? We called it our rainy day blanket, and I just kept the name because this is like a pastel rainbow. And when your day is rainy, like today is outside, it's nice to have just a little blanket. It's not little. You can make it any size that you want and wrap around you. So, the rainy day blanket, and the neat thing about it, this is the yarn that I use, the mandala. It's a number 3, it's not a number 4, but if you want to make it a number 4, you can. Just keep in mind it is going to be a little bit bigger, and you probably have to go up a hook size. And we did this with an eye hook, and normally you don't use a 5.5 hook with a number 3 yarn, but we want it to be open and lacy. And you can make it as wide as you want, and you can make it as long as you want. So it can be a huge blanket if you want to. And someone said, hang on, I'm getting dry again. I just love to talk. I can't help it. So anyway, someone said it'd make a beautiful curtain and bedspread in a child's room. And I think it would be lovely for that. The pattern is just super fun. And it's just, I think, 6 rows of repeat. And once you do those repeats, you can make it as long as you want to. All right. I need another sip of coffee. All right, our video is getting just a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay. I wanted to show you the honeybee. But I wanted to show you one other yarn that I got in the mail. I'll tell you the funny little story. I was waiting on my yarn to come in on Friday, and my granddaughter, Zoe, was here, and she likes to run out and check the mail with me, and it was raining, and so we ran out anyway because we like to play in the mud and the water and the rain. And we ran out to the mailbox, and she said, "There's no mail in here, Oma," because, you know, my grandkids call me Oma. And I said, "No." And she goes, "Oh, I know why." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "It's National Donut Day." I just bust out laughing. That's a big day to her because she loves donuts. I said, no, the mouse still comes even on National Donut Day. I thought that was hilarious. So, anywho, it came on Saturday. And this is Sweet Roll Sprinkles. And I'm going to move this over so I can make sure you can see this yarn. I'll put it on this other camera. This is Sweet Roll Sprinkles. And there's my honeybee. And you can see it's got sprinkles in it. Sweet Roll Sprinkles. Has 5 ounces. It's a number 4 medium yarn. And it's 100% acrylic yarn. And I really like this color. Let me come back over here. All right, the color is called Periwinkle Sprinkles. Exactly. And I wanted this particular color because usually I order in colors like this that have lots of bright colors. And so I thought, well, I'm going to order this one because I want to do something for the guys. I do a lot of things for us ladies. And some things that can go either way depending on what the stitch is. But I wanted to do something specifically for the guys, and so I ordered in this one. And I think it's going to be beautiful when I get it done. And I have a scarf and hat set I want to do with this. And I think it's going to be beautiful for this fall. And so it's really soft. It's a good... one of the things that comes across a lot of times is it says it's a medium 4, but it's thinner. And that happens when the machines are pulling too tightly, I think, because I'll get the same yarn and it won't always look the same in the weight. And the weight is the thickness of the yarn, medium 4, medium 3, or whatever. And this one is what I would call a true medium 4 weight yarn, okay? So anyway, I wanted to show you that because and I have another new yarn I'm going to show you next week from Hobby Lobby because I made a Hobby Lobby trip. I couldn't stand it. I had to go. All right, that was a lot of stuff, huh? Okay, so we have a giveaway going on, just to recap. Make sure you comment on last week's video and or on YouTube or on the Facebook page. And all you have to do is comment and you're entered and you'll get the Coffee and Crochet Sara project bag full of cotton yarn. And I always put a little surprise in there too. All right, our washcloth of the month is going to be next Monday because we're going to be taking a trip to visit my father-in-law. And then we talked about our 3 new patterns and our honeybee. And so I have to buzz off. Thank you all for visiting with me today. And remember, this is our YouTube channel because I can't do what I do without all of you. So have a great week. Remember to be joyful, and happiness is a choice. I'll see you next week.